Hey everyone, this is Tom, Vermi Bag. Today I just wanted to give you a quick tour of the shop or my room that I make each and every Vermi Bag in. I'm pretty excited because I just got in a brand new industrial sewing machine, a Sailrite. This has a walking foot, pressure foot, and it's a neat machine. It can do a lot heavier material. I can run thicker thread, so it's going to be a big help in certain areas of making the Vermi Bag. It's just going to make them better. This is a sewing machine, a heavy-duty Singer that I use for most of the stuff. But this is where every bag is made in this little shop. This is a new Vermi Bag Max that I'm working on, a new color scheme. I'm going to go ahead and do a camel. I've had quite a few people ask about it, so this is the very first one that's being made. I'll probably have it done today, and you'll see it on the website here pretty soon. So the setup for here, my working table. I cut all my material and stuff here. You can see about 7 or 8 Vermi Bag minis that are in various stages of completion. Pretty small, but pretty efficient. If you order a Vermi Bag, at least now you know where it's made at. So a lot of people out there are asking why I should buy a Vermi Bag. I mean, they cost more than a lot of the systems on the market. They don't come with a stand, so you have to build one. And you know, the answer to that really is, you know, maybe you shouldn't buy one. I mean, a Vermi Bag is not for everyone. If you have a rubber tote or a plastic bin or an outdoor compost bin that you're raising worms in, and it works fine, I mean, there's really no reason to buy another system, spend money on a Vermi Bag. But if you want to have a system that's going to go into your house in an area that's going to be pretty visible, it's nice to have something that looks really nice. And just as important as the looks is the functionality. And the Vermi Bags really, really work well. The sides of the Vermi Bag are coated, either a coated Cordura or a coated Oxford material, so they don't breathe hardly at all on the sides. But the top of the bag and the bottom of the bag are both highly breathable, so you get good airflow through the system from top to bottom. Innovations on the Vermi Bag, like the Vermi Bag Window if you're a teacher, really neat feature to be able to stick food in front of the window and let the kids just look at it on a daily basis without having to unzip it and get into the system. And a lot of the kids don't want to touch that stuff anyway. Another great feature of the Vermi Bags is the zippered harvest panel. Now, all the Vermi Bags come with the zippered harvest panel. The only difference is the Max will have a slightly larger zipper. I'm transitioning everything into a single pole number 8 zipper for all of the minis, and the Maxes will have a little bit larger number 10 zipper with a single pole. But the zippered harvest panel is unique for us because once you open it up, you'll notice that there's an inner liner inside of this that tapers down. You see how this tapers? And so the zipper's way up here. So when this is zipped up, all the moisture and stuff is down here. This is a waterproof pack cloth liner that's inside here. So it keeps all this dirt and moisture away from the zipper. So, and then it also tapers down. So you can go ahead and open up all the way, and the compost will stay right in this area here. You won't have it falling all out. You don't have to worry about everything in the bag coming out. And normally when you harvest, you're only going to go back up to probably just above the zipper, a couple inches from here up to about here. And you get several gallons easily of compost. And once the system's up and running, you'll be doing that every 3 weeks or so. Now Vermi Bags also, I spend a lot of attention to detail. And you can see here, where the main section is zipped to the colored section, they're double stitched, but the second stitch is actually a top stitch. So it's with some type of a highlight material or a color that complements the bag. Where the top section goes on to the main strap section, there's also a highlight stitch here. It's normally black, the material is black, but it's a heavy duty nylon thread that's used on this. Then again, where we put the zipper on, we use a highlight stitch that accents it. And the same thing on the lid. Once we get to the lid, you have a double stitch on the lid that basically complements the color of the bag. Now, we used to make the top section here on the older Vermi bags used to be a webbing. And it worked fine, but the issue we had is that the webbing sometimes would not match the color of the lower section of the bag. I would get it to work just fine, and then I'd get a match of material in that would be a little bit different dye lot, and it'd be a different color. So it's a lot more effort, but I actually take now this lower material, whether it's a Cordura or the Oxford, I double it up and I actually make the strap section up on the top here. So these are always going to be an exact match because it's the same material. So it makes for a really nice looking bag. All of the seams, critical seams, are double stitched. And then before I send the bags out, I also take a water-based sealant and I paint all of the seams, especially the lower seams, just to make sure we don't get any seepage and stuff through the seams if you happen to run the system really wet. The straps I use are made out of Polypro. These are rated for, I think, 450 pounds. The weight of this system completely loaded might be about 175 to 200 maybe if you had it completely maxed out. So divided amongst the 4 straps, that's only about 50 pounds per strap. So you're not going to break these straps. Now for the Vermi Bag Minis, the upper black section is normally an Oxford material. It's waterproof. Now for the Vermi Bag Max, the upper black section on this is a really high-end quality Cordura 1000 that's waterproof. It has like a rubber coating somewhat on the bottom. This is a super nice material. It's really pliable, super strong. It's a military spec material. And I do the same thing on the Maxes. You'll see the upper section where the main section goes onto the strap section. There's a highlight stitch here. I normally again do it in black. And then the upper section here you have a highlight stitch that actually holds the zipper on that matches to the color of the bag. And again, the bags have a double stitching on the top of the lid that matches the color of the bag. The lower section where it ties in again has a top stitch. It's double stitched, you can't see one of them, but the last top stitch is actually a highlight stitch that just looks really nice. And the bottom harvest panel on this bag, since it's a Max, is the larger number 10 zipper. Other than that, everything on the inside, the liner, the tapered liner is exactly the same. Another thing on the harvest panel, the actual harvest panel itself is made out of a Cordura fabric that's water resistant. It is breathable, I would say very slightly, but it is breathable. But it's a little bit more than water resistant in my opinion. If you run the system really wet, you'll get a lot of water collecting in the bottom of the system, and I don't like that. If you let too much water collect in here, it's going to turn into an anaerobic mess. So before I ship these out ever, I always punch about 30 holes into the bottom of it just to break the coating of the Cordura fabric and stuff. So when this thing, if you run it too wet, you're going to have little beads of moisture and stuff that'll come through right here on the bottom. If you run the system, normal or dry the way you should, you're never going to have an issue with it. You won't have anything coming out of it. But the bottoms are not supposed to be waterproof. They're not supposed to hold that moisture. You don't want that moisture staying in your system. So if you have your system there and you're running it wet, it's going to drip out the bottom. So it's always a good idea to have some type of a container there. It could be a nice looking container underneath the bag, just in case you get something dripping out the bottom. These Vermi bags are almost escape proof. If you have something in here, it's going to stay in here. If you have something outside, it's not going to get in. The top section, where the zippers, since it's a double zipper pull up here, where the zippers come from both sides here, it's actually glued as well as the stitching there. So it's completely sealed. There's no way to get in from here into the bag. It's a complete seal. So on the top of the bag, the only possible way anything could either get out or in would be in this tiny little section here in between the two zippers where they come together. And we're talking pretty small area here. That's the only way they could possibly get in the top. The rest of this is completely sealed. The lower section, since it's a single pull, That means there's an open end on this zipper here somewhere under, and it's underneath this cover. So now I have it glued and stitched underneath here too, but there's a tiny little area right here underneath this cover that is open as well. It's kind of covered on the inside. It's really difficult to get to, and when the bag's upright it would be up quite a ways. So I've never had any worms come out of any of the systems I have downstairs, but it's possible here. So yeah, this little section here on the bottom that might be possible, and then on the upper section just where the two zippers pulls come together. Last thing is the Vermi Window. Now the Vermi Window is made out of the same, the cover is made out of the same material as the bag here, so this is an Oxford material. I have Velcro that holds the cover down, and the vinyl here is actually a marine vinyl. So it's the same stuff they use, they make boat windows and stuff out of, so it should last an awful long time. It's designed to be outside, and since this is inside, I can't imagine that we'll ever have any issues with it. It's stitched, and then it's also glued on the inside. Now the glue is not really per se to hold it on. The glue is more of a sealant. It helps me set the window, and then it also provides a sealant so you won't have any moisture and stuff leaking through into the window. So that's it. That's my pitch on the Vermi Bag. There's a lot of neat things about the systems, and I do put an awful lot of effort into them. Each bag is going to be slightly different than the next bag because my stitching isn't always the same. There's no big machine factory that's making these things. And the other thing is, Vermi bags are always evolving. If I see something that's better, or somebody suggests something that's a neat idea, I can incorporate it into the Vermi bags very quickly. Since I'm not a huge, large-scale production company, I can get these changes into the systems right away. So we're forever evolving as we go along. I offer a tremendous amount of different colors. Some of those colors you may have to wait a week before I can make the bag because I can't possibly stock every color that I have and have it in stock all the time. But if you have a particular color that you want, special color, I can do that too. Special combinations. Yeah, it's all about making the systems fun too. I mean, the Vermi Bag Max is the largest fabric bag on the market. I mean, it's much bigger than the Vermi Bag Mega, the Worm In Mega, or the Urban Worm Bag. It's a huge system. It's very big. So if you want a high production system, that bag is definitely the pick. The Vermi Bag Mini, on the other hand, even though it says mini, it's only mini because the Max is so big. But the Mini is actually larger than the old Worm In, the regular Worm In, and it's slightly smaller than the Worm In Mega. So the Mini is a large system as well. And I now have the Vermi Bag Micro, which is a portable system. It's pretty cool because you can take a fully functional system, and it's just a little bit bigger than a 5-gallon bucket as far as capacity. And you can just take it with a stand and everything, throw it in your car, take it to a school or to a presentation, set it on the table, and be able to have a system that's completely functional and operating right there, all up to speed, and people can look into it and see what's happening. And then just pick it up, take it back, put it in your car, and take it home. So it's a really neat system. It's really exactly like the Vermi Bag Mini, except it's smaller. Like I said before on another video, that's the only bad thing about it because it takes almost as much time to make the Vermi Bag Micro as it does the Mini. So folks, if you're thinking about getting a new system, I hope you'll consider a Vermi Bag. I'll also give you my guarantee on it that if you purchase a Vermi Bag, I'll ship it to you. And if you don't like it, you don't think that it's the highest quality bag, everything I'm saying about it's not true, just simply put the bag back in a box, send it back to me. I'll pay for all the shipping both directions, and I'll give you all your money back, plus I'll give you 10% more. And I'm really confident that you will love these systems. They work really, really well, and they're super durable. They look really nice. And the PVC stand for the Mini is actually really, really simple to put together. I have a good set of instructions, And the wood stand is actually real easy too. And I mean, I know a lot of people don't have the capacity for that. They have the tools and stuff, so it might be a little bit harder, but the mini works perfect on the PVC stand. You don't need to put it on a wood stand. I would recommend putting the Max on a wood stand because their bag can get pretty heavy if it's full. But it works fine on the PVC stand as well. I mean, I have 3 of them downstairs that are on PVC stands. And they'll have a little bit of sway to the stand. I mean, pretty similar to what the urban worm bag is. If you pull that back and forth, it'll move back and forth, and the Max will do that too if you put it on a PVC stand. But if you put it on a wood stand, the thing's solid as a rock. I mean, you can jump up and down on it, and the stands are easy too. You can put casters on a sheet of plywood, cut a little 2x2 or 2.5 by 2.5 piece of plywood and put casters on it, and then set the stands on them. Then you can roll them around wherever you want. So that's it, folks. This is Tom from Vermi Bag. Until next time, ciao.